13 countries where alcohol is banned and why. Did you know that in some parts of the world, alcohol is completely off limits? From cultural traditions to religious beliefs, the reasons behind these bans are as fascinating as the countries themselves. In today's video, we're diving into 13 countries where alcohol is banned and why. Stay tuned to learn about the historical, cultural, and legal reasons that have shaped these unique rules. Whether you're a curious traveler or just love learning about global cultures, this video will leave you with plenty to think about. Alcohol laws vary widely across the world, with some countries banning its consumption entirely due to cultural, religious, or legal reasons. In certain nations, alcohol prohibition reflects strong societal values or adheres to religious teachings such as Islam, where consuming alcohol is forbidden. These bans aim to promote public health, maintain social harmony, or uphold cultural practices. In some countries, alcohol is banned nationwide, while others enforce restrictions in specific regions or for particular groups. This video explores countries where alcohol is prohibited and the unique factors that contribute to these decisions. Countries with alcohol prohibition. Each country has unique laws and traditions that make the alcohol ban there. In this section, we discuss these countries and their traditions one by one. 1. Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, the consumption and sale of alcohol have been strictly prohibited due to the country's deep-rooted Islamic traditions. Islam, the dominant religion in Afghanistan, explicitly forbids alcohol consumption under Sharia law, which forms the basis of the country's legal framework. Article 130 of the Afghan Constitution aligns with Islamic jurisprudence, making alcohol bans not just a cultural norm, but a legal mandate. Historically, alcohol was available in Afghanistan during the 1960s and 1970s, especially in urban areas like Kabul, where modernization and foreign influences created a more relaxed environment. However, this changed dramatically following the Soviet invasion and subsequent political shifts that emphasized Islamic conservatism. The rise of the Taliban in the 1990s further entrenched the alcohol ban. It led to harsh penalties for violations, including imprisonment and fines. In recent years, Afghanistan has seen minimal public discourse on relaxing these restrictions. Instead, the focus has been on stricter enforcement. For instance, in 2021, authorities confiscated and destroyed large quantities of alcohol in raids targeting illegal operations. 2. Brunei. Brunei enforces a complete ban on the sale and consumption of alcohol as part of its strict adherence to Islamic law. The implementation of Sharia law in 2014 under Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah further solidified the ban. Non-Muslims, however, are permitted to bring limited quantities of alcohol into the country for personal use, provided they declare it at customs. Brunei's alcohol prohibition stems from its deep cultural and religious commitment to Islam. The Alcoholic Drinks Order of 1959 marked one of the earliest legal codifications of the ban, which has since been upheld without significant public debate. Recent developments focus on stricter enforcement, with regular inspections targeting illegal alcohol sales. The government also actively campaigns to discourage alcohol use, emphasizing public health and moral values. Moreover, the ban aligns with the broader cultural fabric, where abstaining from alcohol is a widely accepted norm. In Brunei, the government framing the ban as a measure to preserve public order and societal well-being. 3. Iran. In Iran, alcohol has been banned since the Islamic Revolution of 1979, which replaced a secular monarchy with an Islamic republic. The ban is rooted in Islamic teachings and enforced under the Islamic Penal Code. This prescribes severe punishments for alcohol production, sale, and consumption, including flogging and imprisonment. Before 1979, Iran had a thriving alcohol industry, with both domestic production and imports catering to a cosmopolitan society. However, the revolution ushered in a wave of religious conservatism. Alcohol was declared haram, forbidden, under Islamic law. Non-Muslim minorities, including Christians, Jews, and Zoroastrians, are legally permitted to produce and consume alcohol for religious purposes, but only within their communities. Despite the ban, Iran faces challenges with underground alcohol markets and smuggling. The government frequently conducts crackdowns. However, clandestine production remains prevalent. Unfortunately, this has led to instances of methanol poisoning from unregulated alcohol. Public health campaigns focus on deterring alcohol use and raising awareness about its risks. Alcohol consumption remains a taboo topic in most of Iranian society, but younger, urban populations sometimes defy the ban privately, reflecting a subtle cultural shift. 4. Libya. Libya's ban on alcohol dates back to 1969, when Colonel Muammar Gaddafi assumed power and aligned the nation's policies with Islamic principles. The Prohibition Law of 1974 officially outlawed the production, sale, and consumption of alcohol, reflecting Libya's commitment to Islamic law. Before Gaddafi's regime, alcohol was available in Libya, particularly in urban centers like Tripoli and Benghazi. However, post-ban, alcohol became associated with Western influence, which the government sought to eliminate as part of its anti-colonial and Islamic identity rhetoric. In the years following Gaddafi's ousting in 2011, Libya has remained deeply divided, and alcohol prohibition persists. The black market for alcohol has flourished, leading to frequent crackdowns by authorities. A significant issue in Libya is the prevalence of counterfeit alcohol, which has caused numerous cases of poisoning and fatalities. Additionally, the alcohol ban aligns with Libya's conservative cultural and religious fabric. However, underground consumption suggests a quiet resistance among some citizens. Enforcement remains inconsistent, especially in regions outside government control due to ongoing political instability. 5. Maldives. In the Maldives, alcohol is generally banned for its citizens under Islamic law, as the country is a predominantly Muslim nation. However, the unique dependence on tourism has created exceptions. Alcohol is legally permitted on resort islands, where it is served to foreign tourists. This compromise helps maintain the country's religious values while supporting its vital tourism industry. Moreover, alcohol restrictions have been part of the Maldives' adherence to Islamic principles, but the growth of tourism since the 1970s introduced a nuanced approach. The government enforces the ban strictly on inhabited islands to respect local customs and religious norms. Recent years have seen no significant changes in these policies, though occasional debates arise about balancing cultural preservation with economic demands. Strict penalties exist for citizens found possessing or consuming alcohol, including imprisonment and fines. Smuggling incidents have occurred but are relatively rare due to robust enforcement. This dual approach, one that has prohibition for citizens and allowances for tourists, demonstrates how the Maldives navigates its cultural values and economic needs, maintaining religious fidelity while catering to a global audience. 6. Mauritania. Mauritania enforces a complete ban on alcohol, rooted in its strict adherence to Islamic principles. The country's legal system is based on Sharia law, and the prohibition reflects its commitment to upholding Islamic values. Historically, Mauritania has never been a significant consumer or producer of alcohol, as its cultural and religious framework has always discouraged its use. The ban, therefore, aligns with societal norms, making alcohol less of a contentious issue compared to other nations. In recent years, enforcement has remained stringent, with severe penalties for those caught possessing or consuming alcohol. International visitors are also expected to respect the ban, and alcohol is not readily available even in hotels or other tourist facilities. Culturally, Mauritania's alcohol policies are tied to its national identity as an Islamic republic. Social campaigns emphasize the spiritual and societal benefits of abstinence, and there is little to no movement advocating for loosening the ban. 7. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia enforces one of the world's strictest alcohol bans, rooted in its status as the birthplace of Islam. Under Sharia law, alcohol is prohibited entirely, with severe penalties for possession, consumption, or smuggling. Punishments can include imprisonment, fines, and flogging. Historically, Saudi Arabia's alcohol ban has been a key part of its Islamic governance, aligning with the country's role as the custodian of Islam's two holiest cities, Mecca and Medina. Alcohol prohibition has been a consistent feature of Saudi society since the establishment of the modern kingdom in 1932. In recent years, the country's Vision 2030 initiative has introduced some liberalizing reforms, but alcohol remains strictly off-limits. The smuggling of alcohol persists, and Saudi authorities regularly intercept shipments. Moreover, the ban reflects the nation's deeply conservative values. Advocacy for legalization is virtually non-existent within the country, and alcohol remains a highly sensitive topic. Saudi Arabia's alcohol prohibition is a cornerstone of its religious and cultural identity, symbolizing its adherence to Islamic values while maintaining strict enforcement in line with societal expectations. 8. Somalia. In Somalia, alcohol has been banned for decades due to the nation's strong Islamic culture and legal adherence to Sharia law. The prohibition reflects societal norms in this predominantly Muslim country. However, political instability has impacted the enforcement of the ban, with unregulated trade occasionally reported. Historically, alcohol has never been a major part of Somali culture, as its society has long adhered to Islamic traditions. Following the collapse of the central government in 1991, enforcement mechanisms weakened, though Islamic groups and local authorities have maintained prohibitions where possible. In recent years, Somalia has seen sporadic crackdowns on alcohol smuggling. Penalties for possession or consumption remain harsh, often involving fines or imprisonment. Despite this, some alcohol reportedly circulates in underground markets, particularly in urban areas. 9. Sudan. Sudan's alcohol ban is rooted in its Islamic identity and Sharia-based legal framework. Since 1983, during the era of President Jafar Numeri, alcohol has been officially prohibited, with laws reflecting a strict adherence to Islamic values. Historically, alcohol consumption was limited to Sudan's non-Muslim communities, primarily in the southern regions. After the 2011 secession of South Sudan, where alcohol is legal, the predominantly Muslim North maintained its prohibition. In recent years, Sudan has undergone significant political changes following the ousting of President Omar al-Bashir in 2019. While some reforms have been introduced, such as permitting alcohol consumption for non-Muslims, the general ban remains for the Muslim majority. The alcohol ban remains a divisive issue, with conservative groups staunchly defending it as a symbol of Islamic identity. Meanwhile, some progressive factions advocate for more inclusive laws that respect the rights of all citizens. 10. Yemen. Yemen enforces a strict ban on alcohol, grounded in its adherence to Islamic law. As a conservative Muslim nation, the prohibition reflects the country's cultural and religious values. Historically, alcohol was never a significant part of Yemeni society, and its use has always been socially and religiously frowned upon. The ban became official as Yemen solidified its Islamic legal framework over the years. Recent years of civil conflict have further reinforced the prohibition. Amid political and social instability, authorities in different regions strictly enforce the alcohol ban, with harsh penalties for those caught violating the law. However, black market trade exists, driven by demand from expatriates and some locals. Cultural campaigns often highlight the spiritual and health benefits of abstinence, reinforcing societal support for the ban. While there are underground efforts to access alcohol, public advocacy for legalization is nearly absent. 11. Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, alcohol is heavily restricted, primarily due to its Islamic identity, as the majority of its population practices Islam. While alcohol is not outright banned, Its sale and consumption are regulated under the Narcotics Control Act 1990 and primarily limited to non-Muslims and foreigners. Muslims are prohibited from consuming alcohol, and violations are punishable by fines or imprisonment. Historically, alcohol consumption in the region was low, even before independence. The cultural and religious influence of Islam has consistently shaped public policies regarding alcohol. During the British colonial period, alcohol was available, but its use remained minimal among Muslims. Recent developments include efforts by authorities to crack down on unlicensed production and black market alcohol, which has led to incidents of illicit liquor poisoning. Conversely, a small but growing urban elite has contributed to discussions about liberalizing alcohol laws, especially for tourism development. However, such proposals often meet resistance from conservative groups. 12. Kuwait. Kuwait enforces a complete alcohol ban under its legal system, rooted in Islamic principles. The ban applies to the sale, possession, and consumption of alcohol, with violations resulting in severe penalties, including imprisonment or deportation for expatriates. Historically, alcohol was available in Kuwait before independence in 1961. However, as the country embraced Islamic law, alcohol was outlawed to align with its religious values and cultural identity. Despite the ban, reports of black market alcohol and smuggling are not uncommon. The government actively combats this issue, often conducting raids and imposing strict penalties on offenders. Public intoxication is rare due to the heavy enforcement of laws, contributing to Kuwait's reputation as a conservative nation. 13. Pakistan. Pakistan enforces a ban on alcohol for its Muslim-majority population under the Prohibition Enforcement of Hudud Order 1979, introduced during General Zia-ul-Haq's regime. The law reflects the country's Islamic identity, prohibiting the sale, purchase, and consumption of alcohol by Muslims. Non-Muslims, however, are permitted to buy and consume alcohol, provided they have a permit. Several licensed outlets cater to this demographic, and a small alcohol industry exists under stringent regulations. Despite the restrictions, illegal production and smuggling thrive, often leading to incidents of adulterated alcohol poisoning. Historically, alcohol was more accessible before the Islamization policies of the late 1970s. The shift to stricter laws was part of a broader effort to align national policies with Islamic values. Conclusion: countries that ban alcohol often do so to preserve cultural, social, or religious norms, demonstrating the deep connections between laws and societal values. Whether rooted in religious teachings or public health considerations, these prohibitions highlight the importance of respecting diversity in global practices. While such policies may not align with all perspectives, they provide valuable insight into the ways cultures prioritize collective well-being. And there you have it. 13 countries where alcohol is banned and the intriguing reasons why. Understanding these rules gives us a deeper appreciation of the rich cultural and religious diversity around the world. Now it's your turn. What do you think about these alcohol bans? Did any of them surprise you? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and hit subscribe for more content about travel, culture, and global insights. And remember to turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the world responsibly.